Hey everybody, this is the Headhunter. I was playing around in the Course Designer, as I always do, but I happened to figure something out that I hadn't heard before. Someone had mentioned to me, I knew about the multi-plant tool, that if you hit the button really fast, you can plant a bunch of things. I mean, not even multi-plant, just regular planting. I never realized you could actually do that. So, for example, if you wanted to do, let's move out to a spot here, if you just move it out, I mean, when you do it this way, you can resize whatever you want. I'll just make it big for first, but if you rip that A button as fast as you can and just move it around, when you stop hitting that button, 3-4 seconds later, boom, there you go. So beats the heck out of hitting the button once and waiting for that 3-4 second, 5 second Xbox delay. You know, if you're doing a bunch of things, and you can do it with anything really. I mean, you wanted to do some bushes or something, just press it as really, you know, if you're just populating a certain area, if you got to be really specific, it's very tough to do because you got to press that button really fast and move the stick. So if you're trying to be super precise on where you're placing 3 or 4 plants, it's really hard to do. But certainly if you're just populating like a hillside type of deal, it makes it really convenient. Prior to figuring that out, I wasn't doing nearly as much planting on my courses as I do now. And the cool part is when you hit the X button, it'll delete all of those things you did in that quick succession, not just the last one. So it'll take out this whole section where I went really fast hitting that A button, slamming the A button. So it also works with, if you wanted to do multi-plant. The downside is you can't raise this up when you're in multi-plant, so it's going to be this default single size, but you can do the same thing and just rip the button really fast, and all of those presses will be done with when you rip that A button. So you'll see, boom, and there it goes. I mean, look at that. So it's really great if you're trying to put a bunch of grasses on a hillside. Can you imagine trying to plant all those? I mean, you could do the multi-plant, but how many times did I hit that button? 6 or 7 times? I mean, what I did in 6 seconds or less, would have taken you a minute and a half, because you'd hit the button once, you'd wait that 4 or 5 seconds, you got to move it, press it again, wait all that time, and now, say you hit something, or oh, you know what, this wasn't really that good, I don't like it. If I hit that X button just once, and you'll see what it does. And there it goes. The entire thing is removed. All of those that rapid succession button presses all get removed with the one shot. Now, that's good and bad. I guess you could look at it, because if you had, say, 1 or 2 plants that you crept down into here where you didn't want it, you got to go through and delete, one by one. You got to pick it up and find it. You can do that. So, for example, if you were to go back to those blues, now if I did that and hit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I pressed that probably 8 or 9 times. Let it catch up. It pops it in. Now if you said, oh, I don't, these plants are no good over here on the front, well, you could do, you can pick them up individually, or go to multi-select, and you could pick up all the ones you wanted that got there. So, and then when you do the multi-select, you can either move those. I could move all that, or I could delete it too. Actually, I'm not sure what happens if I were to delete those. Can I still delete now? If I hit the X button, it'll probably put those back in. Yeah, I think if I hit the X, it should put those back in that I just deleted, and then if I hit it again, it should wipe out all of those blues that I dropped down really quick. Let's see. There we go. So it takes it all out. Okay, so I knew about that little deal. Now, somebody told me that you can do it with sculpting too. So I was trying to do it like this. So okay, I'm just going to do a silly thing. So now I tried to do it and rip the button. It doesn't work. It just clicks once. And, it'll build that up that one time where I hit that button. So I could never figure it out. I couldn't understand. I said, how the hell did they do it? Something, I don't get the trick, or it just doesn't work on Xbox. Maybe it works on PC. I don't know. Until last night, I figured it out. So let's do this. I'm going to flatten. I'll end up just deleting this anyway, but so let's flatten this section right here so you get a better idea of what's about to happen here. So let's flatten this little section. Okay, so we got it nice and flat. I'll do this. Let's take that off of there. Alright, so now we got a nice flat piece of property. So if you come over now, and I think Crazy tried this on the PC and it seemed to work. So no one had ever told this to me before, so I don't know how many people realize that this works, but I'll show it to you, and then I'll try and mention some of the applications that I've figured out, which are awesome. So pick your brush, and I'm just gonna exaggerate this quite a bit. Alright, so I come up here now, hit the A button, but hold it down. Hold down that A button, and as you move the stick around, it's gonna move. So boom, I hold it. Now I'm holding the button down, and just start moving it around, and wherever you move it to, look at this. It's building it up and up and up. It's building up that 2.8 meters, all that stuff you did. Now I let go of the button, and it goes through that little delay, and then boom. Freaking awesome. I mean, the time it would have taken that to build that, just raise up, move it over, raise up here, there. I mean, obviously if you're trying to do something extremely precise, it's a little more tough, but if you just wanted to build in some hills and things, that is freaking sweet. You can just hold down that A button and move it all around, and as you're moving it, it keeps building it up. And again, same thing, if you hit the X button. Oh, you're welcome, Phantasm. Wait, keep watching. I mean, I still don't even know if I've scratched the surface, but check this out. So that was the sculpting. Now, okay, so let's do this. You can get some cool stuff going here. So, okay, let's put my bunker here. So I'll put my bunker, and I'll show you, after I'm done here, I'll show you some of the applications that I've used it for. So, okay, so we come back and say, all right, I want to get this, obviously there's other shapes that could work with this, but say you got here, and now you say, all right, I want to build the back of this up. So if I'm coming from this direction, you want that back side of the bunker built up. That way you can see it. Now this, obviously you could take this big round tool, you say, oh, well, I could just do this. Okay, well, yeah, for this particular shape it would work, but if you had some, funky shapes or what have you, you come in right here, come here, now I'll kind of look at it and say, all right, that's how much I want to raise my bunker. Now hit it, hold the A button, and then let's just slide it right along the back side of this bunker. I'm still holding down the A button. Now I let go. And let's see. You can see it's now raised up that whole back side of that bunker. Now, I mean, it takes a little practice. Obviously this isn't that great because it's a little wavy, but maybe you get a little farther behind. But if you can practice that and get it down, I mean, that would be huge. Instead of going over, taking a little section, hitting the button, wait 3 or 4 seconds, move it over a little bit, 3 or 4 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds, 3 or 4. I mean, what did that take me? 4 or 5 seconds to just slide around the back of that bunker while holding the button down. You know, you'd save a huge amount of time doing that. So that's another. There's a good thing you can do right there. That works pretty well. Takes a little work. Excuse me. Maybe if you get a little farther behind that bunker, could work out well. Now, I was doing that with the sculpting stuff. Let's try here. Let's do this. Let's do this here, and now we lower this down. Get it right down to water. Okay, so we're just above the water. Let it click in. Now, you say, all right, I want to build. I'm thinking I want to build like a little ditch going across here. Let's find my. Here we go. So you think a little ditch, and before you would maybe you'd put it here, hit the button, wait that 3 or 4 seconds, and then I'll move it over to here, hit the button, wait 3 or 4 seconds. Same deal. Well, take it now. Take what you want, that's your size. Hold down the A button and just slide it along here. And you can twist. Let the A button go. Oh, sorry. Did that wrong. I didn't actually got to choose your I didn't choose the brush first. Sorry about that. All right, now that we've got the brush chosen, now let's hold down A. So we come across, you can actually do little twists and turns. It should still work as you twist it. And now I let go of the button, it locks in. There you go. Oh, what a dumbass. It would help if I actually lowered it. A freaking tool. All right. All right, now, here we go. Third time's a charm. Woo! Holding it down, moving it. Let go. So you can kind of see as it was doing it. There, boom. Now you got your ditch. You can come in, obviously, maybe clean that up a little bit, but I mean, would that take 5 seconds to make instead of holding it down, clicking it, moving it, clicking and waiting that delay, that Xbox delay that's always in there, that 4 or 5 seconds. I mean, that easily would have taken, what, 30 seconds, 40 seconds at least, probably a minute to make that if you were doing it the traditional way. So, I mean, you hold that button down, just get in there. I forgot you got to choose it, and lower it what you want. Now, I mean, if I wanted to just rip straight across, I could just rip it straight across, and there you go. You got a sweet little ditch that took, what, 5 seconds to make? Now, next thing, not only does this work with sculpting, it works with surfaces. Yes, surfaces. What? You gotta be kidding me. Never knew that. So, okay, so you got this ugly ditch. I want some heavy rough in here. Okay, let's choose our brush. Hold the button down and just start sliding it along. Let go. Watch what happens. Look at that shit right there. That is unbelievable. No idea you could do that. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could take a huge brush. I could have taken a big old brush and just, plopped it down. Okay, I could do that. But obviously that's, this is just simple ideas, but think it out of the box. I mean, if you were trying to just get something a little along the edge and you had to do fine things, you could just hold that button down and just slide it right along where you want it and get it. Phantasm says, keep not to change the subject, but are you involved in the Xbox One tour and submitting an Xbox course? Love the fact it's giving procs to the Xbox. Yes, that is actually my brother, Callie. He's actually is taking the lead on that. I'm certainly helping him out, and I'm promoting it as well. So I usually do. I don't know if you've seen any of my Beat the Designer, the Xbox version. That's my little series that I do. So I've been trying to cross promote the Xbox One Designers Tour on that as well. So yeah, I mean, if you're for both threads, if you're an Xbox designer, you want me to play your course with a match, just HB Forums. It's where it's at. I got a thread on there, the Xbox One Designers. I mean, the Beat the Designer Xbox version. If you pop a message in there, I'll play a stable for a match on your course, and then been working with Callie to try and promote that as well. It's the Xbox One or XB1 Designers Tour. He just asks if you play, just to play on the tour before you submit a course. That way, we want people playing. Obviously, you can't just say, "Hey, play my course," and you reap the benefits. We want everybody to reap the benefits. So that way, you're playing it, you're helping out other designers, and hopefully get a bunch of plays. Last I checked, we were up to 15 plays this week, so that was pretty cool. Him and I, since we started it, of course, we took advantage, and our 2 courses were the first week. And I think we got 10 plays each, so in 1 week, it went up at least another 5 plays. And who knows, where it'll grow. Just the one request, which I kind of have for my designer, my Beat the Designer as well, is just, please make it created from scratch courses. We're not looking, we don't really want to, we don't really want the, what do you call it, auto-gen courses. I mean, that it doesn't really take any effort to do that. So we want to promote the people who are putting in the effort, creating the courses from scratch. I mean, if you're creating it from scratch, we're not, it doesn't have to be, the world's greatest course. I mean, my courses aren't the world's greatest either, but we just want people who are putting in the time, taking the effort. They deserve the exposure, and that would be, that would be cool. So we're hoping it'll grow. Fans, I will do that. Keith and I played in week 2 and really enjoyed it. Yeah, good. Hopefully, as we keep going, we'll get more and more courses. I think he has 2 courses for week 3, I think he said. And I mean, worst case, I have, obviously all my courses are from my Beat the Designer series, or Xbox Designers. So we're going to try and promote it even more. We're trying to think, think of more ways that we can do it, and keep promoting ideas. So excuse me. Anyway, so being that you can do this with surfaces, right? So there's another application. You could, if you had a lake. So for example, here, it's my course that I'm working on now. You want to go all around the lake. I just pulled out a little bit of heavy rough. I'm really not doing any heavy rough on this course. It's just going to be kind of a dry, more, I don't know, somewhere set in England somewhere with lots of sort of dunes and things like that. So I mean, I built all of those mounds using that, holding down that A button. Now I also built this as well. There, I just took that slider and went right down and created my ditch, created another ditch that went across. I took that heavy rough tool and just kind of touched the side, so you don't have really that dirt wall sticking out up and over. I mean, you'll get a little bit of it, but now I took this fairway is actually built doing that. I took the circle tool and just ran it down and kind of snaked it back and forth, holding down the A button, and it built the fairway. The downside is you don't get, it's much tougher to then do that technique where you put a piece of fairway down, don't move it, and switch to rough and just expand it a little bit. So obviously you get the exact same shape. But I took, after the fact of this, I just wanted to try it and see how it came out. I just took the big circle tool. I went to rough, took this big circle tool, and then just tried to, obviously it's not going to overwrite your fairway, so I just tried to come out like this and, just pick it out over the rough where it indented. I made sure, see where that line cuts back in at the top of the circle. If you cut that into that little piece on the right there of my circle where the fairway cuts in, if you make it come in like that, where it's cutting into that line, and then you come on the other side and make it cutting out of that line, you'll kind of get that little dip that goes in. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but it follows the fairway pretty close. I think this actually came out pretty good. I decided to save it. I mean, it got a little bit wider here, but not too bad. But you can see there, it got the little, it follows that dip. The rough kind of cuts in, the heavy rough cuts in where the fairway. Same there. You know, so that's where it is. It's tough. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So, again, like that. The thing I really like is that, I mean, you could just take that slider and, I mean, just take the fairway, hold the button down, and then you just come down and you can make some cool shapes. You know, it's not just putting together all the shapes one at a time. And now I made this fairway. It took me 10 seconds. I just went maybe 5 seconds to just come down and slide through. And then, like I said, it's just a little tougher to make your rough border. I saw someone on the HB forums had a great suggestion about being able to just snap the rough to this. Just choose how deep you want the rough, so how wide I should say, and it would snap a light rough border around it. I mean, that would be a cool option. Now, I don't know. Maybe you could have, obviously always having options is the best, because I don't know, someone may want to do something different. I don't know, maybe because how would you include this bunker if you wanted to do light rough? So I'm not sure, but maybe having it snap an initial snap to it, and then you can always add. Then I could sit there and add the rough, but that would make it a million times easier to have a light rough border and just choose how wide you want it, and then it would snap exactly to the shape that your fairway is. That would be huge. That would make designing it would look a million times better, and it would make it so easy to do. But so anyway, so surfaces. You can do this little trick by holding down the A button to do surfaces. Again, let me go. I'll just go out. I'll just show you real quick. But so I want to create a fairway. So just choose your brush. Now I'm holding down the A button. I'll slide around, I'll come down, do some waves, so you can see when you let go of the A button, you get your normal 4 or 5 second delay on the Xbox, and then there it is. I mean, how long would that have taken you to go here, hit the A button, wait 4 or 5 seconds, move it over to here, 4 or 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. I mean, that would take you at least 4 or 5 minutes minimum to make that fairway. How long did that take me? 5 seconds to go through. I mean, I'm just obviously making some wacky shapes, but then this is, that's where the hard part is, because obviously you're not going to be able to do that. Take the rough. I mean, I suppose you could, but it would be extremely difficult to then follow this along with the heavy rough and have it a little bigger. But what I try to do on that other one is now come out here, make it a little bit bigger. And then here you gotta you can try and hold this button down and move it along, but it's not very easy. Like this, for example, if you wanted to, I'll do this. To go this way, it's extremely difficult, and I think it creates too many waves, because I think what it's doing is sort of planting this circle, and then it moves a little bit, and it keeps kind of planting down and down and down. So I'll show you, like, if you can get this edge out, what I was trying to do. And now I'm holding the button down, and then just go along and just kind of slide along here. Obviously I'm not doing it too well. You'd need a lot of practice, and you got to move this around a little bit. So if I was sliding, and yeah, this is just a really bad example here, but I'll let the button go and you'll see what happens. I'll kind of show you why I don't think it really works too well. Now, I mean, it gets a rough border around it, so it's not too bad, but I think when you look closely at this, see how it kind of there's kind of like indents into that rough, into the heavy rough. I don't think it comes out as well. Yeah, so I've been trying to play with that and see. I mean, maybe someone else playing around with it, it might work. Maybe you could get it to work better than I can here. But so what I was doing was taking the circle here and then just coming in like this, now go like that. I'd come back and do it this way. Obviously, when you have an out-cutting fairway, much easier, but when you have an in-cutting fairway, it's tougher, so you got to try and go a little shorter. Can't make it as wide here. And then you just got to kind of follow through here. And then like these are a little easier when you have these out facing. You can match it up like that. So you can see, I think, so now I can follow that circle path around. I think it gets, hey, I mean, you still get a little wave, and it's a little tough, but you can see it kind of cuts in there where the fairway cuts in. So this is a work in progress. I mean, I would love to be able to lay down fairway like this, because then you could get some cool designs, and it could sort of take out that harshness of having the fairways having hard lines on it. I mean, that has a little bit of a hard line, but I could always go back in and, it's not the perfect brush to use, but I could always go back in and put little better spots, so kind of smooths out that edge. But yeah, that's the trick, is figuring out how to get this rough perfect around it. Because if you could figure that out and be able to just slide that, hold the A button down and just slide your fairway brush, that would be amazing. That would cut down so much time, and I think you could create some cool stuff. All right, so now you've got two more things to play with here. So it's perfectly smooth. I like to smooth those out. So here's where you're sculpting, flatten, oops, and then come to this brush, and now you could just take it, hold the A button, and just come around and just slide down your fairway, and this should level it out. It's going to be harder to see here. I wish I had a better example, but anyway, let's see. Let's go back and look. I should have looked for a spot that was really goofed up, but if you come back, that looks better than it was. Now you get your transitions are flat. This is going to be harder to see, but yeah, it's kind of hard to see in this stuff, but let's see if we can find a spot. There we go. Alright, so let's try it here. Go to flatten. Gotta make it a little bit bigger. And we're leaving it right on 0 now. And now choose a brush. If I hold it down, and now if I slide it through, it should flatten it out. It might take a little bit of extra work, because that was really deep. Let's see what happens. So I let go of the button. Now if you come in, yeah, see, it's a little tough because it's on 0. That was such a steep thing there. I don't know if you have to, in a situation like that where it's really deep, I'm not sure if it would work out there as well, but you can try. That's a situation where if it's really steep like that, it might be easier to just take the brush and click it one at a time, and because you might have to raise and lower a little bit. But that got second time through. I mean, that's way better than it was. That's certainly a lot better. You don't have that deep chasm off the edge of the fairway. So hard to tell. I don't know if I needed a second pass, or did I just needed a wider brush so it picked up more of the level between the fairway and the rough to smooth it out. But if if you have a situation like that where it's not too bad, but there's a little spots you want to smooth out, you could do that way. Just take the sculpt, pick your brush, and just hold down the A button and just glide right along your fairway edge, and it should kind of flatten as it goes along. So, all right, now next thing, what else could we plant or make where we could slide it along? Guys says, don't spin the brush. Well, that's true. Yeah, it could be. That could be part of it too, but here's another thing. Next thing is, what else can we create? Bunker. Yes, you can create a bunker. I'll just do a basic idea, but find where you want to start. Hold down the A button. I'll just do, obviously this is a really crazy example, but let off the button. And let's see what happens. Yes, indeed. It is unbelievable. I mean, you think that's just amazing. So you could put down, I mean, obviously awesome for waste bunkers. You want to do something like that. You can do all sorts of stuff with different shapes, and you could come down, create different stuff. Let go. There you go. You pretty much start doing that, you can pretty much guarantee that you'll have unique bunkers. You could basically avoid ever having a boring shaped bunker if you wanted to. I mean, so many different options. And now that's obviously, I'm just making huge long, oops, those huge long bunkers. But if you wanted to say, I don't know, figure something out, you could say, you could just come in if you wanted to make a, something to drag it along, turn, drag back. See what comes up. Oh, I did it again. I forgot to choose the brush first. Sorry. So come down that way. I would keep forgetting you got to choose the brush first before you hold the A button down. There you go. I mean, it's something different. Certainly not a standard looking brush, that's for sure. So pretty much say whatever you can think up. I mean, you can make some really cool stuff with doing that. So trying to think, I mean, other stuff you could other applications you could do if you guys, I mean, certainly post something if you're thinking of something. Oops, I hit the button. I'd raise up. Say I wanted just do some stuff here in the fairway. You come through and just hold the button down, slide through. If you wanted to make some big, big waves, moguls type things. If you're doing a links type course or something and you don't want flat fairways, I mean, there you go. See if you can see those. I mean, they've got humps and bumps. Obviously, you could do that in your rough, your fairway, whatever you want to do. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. So it's so easy. Just hold the button and slide Now, of course, it's going to be the same height, but you could go back and forth. I mean, if you wanted to. I could take here, choose it, go up. And if I wanted to make this section bigger, I could kind of go back and forth a few times. Yeah, it works. Obviously, flattening. Callie says, did you mention flattening a hill? You could do it if you want to flatten as well. So, I mean, that created, much bigger. So, could actually end up doing the same thing. Go down, hold the button. It should work for this as well if you wanted to come through. And it's hard to tell. I mean, I don't know if I didn't go down. Well, let's see what happens after I let go. See if it lowers it down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So just by holding it down, I didn't really go over that section much, but just hold down the button and you're sliding back and forth. Take it right out. Now, so I got a big slope here, another deal. Go take your flatten. Take something like that, or flatten it down a little bit. You could just hold the button and just slide down your hill. I probably needed to make it bigger, but I know, yeah, it didn't quite work out that well. I know Callie was doing that yesterday, and he's got that tool technique mastered better than I do. I haven't played with that, trying that too much, but okay, so just picked up the game. Thank you for showing all these tips. Certainly going to make the course creation easier. Yeah, I mean, I just literally figured this out last night. Being able to just hold the A button down and just slide it around, and for sculpting, for surfaces, bunkers. Yeah, I mean, when I figured it out, I was like, holy cow. I sent a message to Callie, and I was telling him, and we were both like hysterical laughing, like, holy crap, this is game changer. I mean, just the terms of time saving, because you're not waiting for that 3, 4, 5, whatever, 6-second delay on the Xbox between button pushes. So, yeah, I mean, definitely lots of applications. Like I said, I mean, you can try with the fairway doing it this way. It's not very easy. It still might be easier to just place your fairway piece and then, without moving it, switch to rough and increase your fairway and do it. I'm sure maybe with a lot of practice you could get it down to where you could do it. Now this, like I said, this was a hole. I'll show you. I go back here. So this was my hole. I did it by placing the fairway brush down, then waiting after I just clicked it once, increased the rough size, and then did it so you could see the rough is going to follow perfectly around the fairways by using that technique. But this hole, the fourth hole, I held down the button. I just used the big circle brush, and I held down the A button, and just slid the cursor along in this shape, and it created this entire fairway at one time. And then I went back, and like I said, I used the rough surface. This went to rough. I took the same big circle, and this was just, I mean, literally the first time really trying to do it this way. So, trying to just get it a little bit bigger and going around. I thought it came out pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. I mean, I ended up cutting off a little bit where the rough got a little too big. I added, you can see that little moon brush, so I cut the fairway in this way more. But it didn't come out that bad. It's pretty good. I mean, it got a little wide here, but I could actually take the fairway brush if I really want to. I could take, if I want to cut it in, and I could create a fairway surface and just do something like that, and just, chop it in there, cut it into this stuff a little bit more. I'm just gonna back out without saving, so even though I'm changing some of my holes, not a big deal. But I mean, you could always get in here and make the fairway just a little bit bigger. If you found out that rough is a little too big, I mean, this is not gonna work perfect, but probably could have done this a little bit better. But you can always come back in. Phantom said definitely will speed things up a bit. Yes, no question. And this is awesome. Like I said, this is how I did here on this right side. I wanted to just raise this up a little bit, so I just took my raise brush, raised it up a little bit, and then just took the cursor and just slid it right along here. So boom, 8 seconds, whatever it is, and this whole section raised up. So I didn't have that flat section going into the bunker. But oh yeah, and then another thing too I could show you. Okay, so anyway, so looking back at this, I cut that rough down a little bit, got a little bit thinner if you want to try and keep it perfectly uniform, throughout. See, here's a section. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I could always come back in here. I bet, I could try and cut into that. I could try and grab some fairway here. Find something, another tool, maybe here, something like that. Could always try and come in and touch this up a little bit. Pop a little fairway. And this is actually good for, see, it definitely looks a little bit better now. It's a good trick for any time you're making fairways. If you've got some big bump outs, or as you're putting a couple of brushes together, you could grab that tool, that one, or the bean. Bean is always great. So for example here, this rough got a little bit wider than maybe you wanted, so I could cut in. Just drop in here with the bean. And just add. And so there, cuts it down a little bit. Because I'm on PC, there's excuse me, there's a little delay between placing pieces. By no means do I have a monster rig, but it's good. So I think the delay is more on the game side rather than system. The Xbox definitely has more delay than a PC. I mean, I guess it depends on. I guess it would depend on what rig you have for PC. But I've watched other PC designers, and they'll just place plants down, ding, ding, ding. You hear that little button press going. There's definitely less of a delay. Xbox, I mean, I'll show you here. You can see how long this delay is, and maybe you could compare it to yours. So I don't know if you can hear it, but as soon as I press it, I'm gonna hold a stick to the side and see how long it takes for this to move. But there, I just pressed it. And there it moves. So I mean, that's a good. I mean, how long is that? That's got to be at least 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 seconds. I mean, that's insane. Think about it. If you're trying to plant, a bunch of different things, or like I said, when you're trying to smooth out this fairway, I mean, it's so much extra time. From what I've seen, I don't think PC has nearly that long a delay. I mean, I'm assuming there's got to be some kind of little bit of a delay, but I mean, 8, 9 seconds is crazy. Crazy. Oh, okay. So yeah, then the other thing I was gonna say that you could do here, and go back out to this here. So now, if I wanted to sculpt this out, this is another application where this could come in really cool. Come in, flatten. Now I liked using this one. So now I want to go through and flatten my bunker, whereas before you'd have to move it, and so I want to raise it down. Oops, not that. So just knock my bunker down, about 0.2. So you'd have to move it here, click the button, wait, of course, like we just saw, 8, 9 seconds, then move it to here, kind of get in all the corners. Well, now you just move it in, hit the button once and hold it down, and now I can just kind of slide it through my bunker. I mean, it's probably a little too big, but because you want to be able to get into those corners, but I'll just slide through. I mean, this is just a basic idea now. Maybe go right back through the middle here, because you may not have caught the edges. I see the difference now. You're right, myself. It's more like 4 seconds. Hopefully, I just get some sort of update to help reduce the time. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping that as they optimize the game, that delay will reduce. But yeah, that would be nice, because it's brutal. But anyway, so that you can see as I slid through, I mean, now, yeah, bunker has a pretty decent shape to it. Certainly not flat anymore, but so much easier than hitting the button and moving it, hit the button, moving it, hitting the button, moving it. That takes a long time. Yeltsman says, I wonder if this will help to do decent greens as well. Yes, good, thank you. I forgot. You could do it. You could definitely do it on, I mean, you could, for creating greens, of course you could do it. If you wanted to create something, but in terms of slope, let's pop this down. Come on. Let's just go here. Let's just get something big. Flatten it. Wait our 10 seconds. Yay, okay, now you could come in and do flatten. I'll just go with this one. Of course, I'm going to try and exaggerate, but if you wanted to do, you know, get a whole section holding the button down, you could kind of move through and, I mean, I don't know, do whatever you like and try and raise this whole section up. I mean, I'm sure I'm not even thinking of nearly half the things or ways you could do stuff, but I mean, there you have. It definitely created some nice. So instead of, I guess if you wanted to make like a shelf just like that, instead of coming in and taking flatten and then just, you know, raising up the whole thing. Callie says, click and move gets painful. Yeah, I mean, especially on the Xbox. I don't know how the PlayStation is in terms of delay. I mean, obviously, Oka said PC was more like 4 seconds, so it still is, but, you know. So, I don't know which way is better to create. If you wanted to create an upper shelf like that, I mean, obviously you're going to be creating the entire thing, or, you know, would that be better? I don't know. Just sliding it around, but I think this would have to be easier. Like I said, I just figured this out last night, so Callie and I were playing it around with it last night, but I think just like with all the tools, you know, the more playing with it, experience, I mean, I think learning, we figured out a lot of different applications last night alone of different things that you could do. Like I said, you know, where is it? That ditch that I made. Thanks, my property. Hello. There we go. So I didn't do it on that one, but the, you know, like that, just taking the tool and just holding down the A button, I just slid it right along. I mean, it took me 3 seconds, 5 seconds to make that ditch, whereas, you know, that would have taken forever. So, I mean, making ditches, making fairways if you want, creating shapes, bunkers, I mean, sculpting along, just smoothing out the edges of your fairways, greens, like we saw, creating mounds. I mean, that's what I made. I basically used it to do, like, all of this stuff, just populating, you know, making all sorts of humps and bumps. Like I said, if you're trying to do super precise, that could be, you know, be a little bit more difficult. But I think patience and just going slow, you know, making sure you're moving on your right spots, you can do it for sure. Like I did here to raise up the backside, the side of a bunker. I mean, that was so much easier. Where else? You know, bunker like this, where I just wanted to here on this back side of the bunker. Boom, I could do it right there. And just slide along instead of clicking and waiting. Phantasm says it's a shame because I enjoy creating courses on the Xbox. Can get a bit tedious at times. I'm sure in time we'll get an update for that. The delay, yeah. Yeah, I hope so. I hope I mean, you know, you listen to HB and I mean, they're constantly talking about they're trying to optimize stuff and all that. Whether they can or not, we'll see. But if they could optimize that, not only resolution, but be able to optimize that delay would be tremendous, because it can be a chore. You know, that 8-9 seconds is brutal if you're doing anything with a lot of planting. You know, that is a long time. I mean, before that multi-plant tool came out, I had no desire to plant anything, because it would take you one hole would take you like an hour to plant everything. By the time you waited for all those delays and moving stuff around, at least the multi-plant, you know, like here, my first hole here I made, I put a bunch of grasses on the hillside. I mean that without the multi-plant, it would take it forever. But when I figured out also that you can just rapidly press that A button and move the stick, and it'll plant a bunch of times, and you'll only have that one delay. That was huge. That was the first game changer that I figured out. And then last night, figuring out this holding down the A button and being able to just slide along for sculpting and creating surfaces, that was definitely game changer number 2. Fantastic. True, we can dream, right? Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping. I'm hoping, if we believe, which I have no reason not to believe him, but if we can believe HB, I mean, this is just going to get better and better. It sounds like they're in for the long haul in terms of making this game better and everything. So as long as they're working on it, I'll be here playing. I've already got over 900 hours put in, so I can't see myself putting in another 900. Scary to say, but oh yeah, I did here. This is a spot, this fifth hole that I'm making. That's where I kind of use that. I tried to use that smoothing tool, the flatten tool, and just held down the button and just kind of slid down the hill, and I think that created a pretty good. So it's got a nice smooth uphill approach. Okay, so show the planting technique. Oh, with the A button. I was doing that in the beginning. I'll do it again. So, like I said, game changer number 1, which, I mean, you never know. I never knew it, so maybe there are other people who don't know. But so if you want to create, I'll do it with a big tree. So before, of course, we all know you'd hit the button and you'd wait for it to plant. Then you'd move it, plant, move it, plant. Now, and in some cases, this is actually better than the multi-plant tool, because if I want to say I want to make big trees, okay, I want to make, obviously make it outrageous, but I want to put a bunch of these in. If I go to use the multi-plant tool, it defaults back to the, tiny little thing. Oh, real quick, I don't know if people knew this trick too, but I don't know if it's really a trick, but it's sort of an understanding of what it does. But when you're using the multi-plant, I mean, you can go back and left and right and change how you want it to plant. When you click the button to plant this down, it looks like everything moves, and you're like, what the hell? I didn't mean to put it there. Well, I think what it's doing is actually showing where it's going to put the next set of plants. So like if I hit the A button here, you're like, what? Wait, what the hell's going on? But that actually is just showing you where the next set will go if you continue pressing the button. So now it did put the ones where I wanted them. So I don't know if it's kind of figuring out, saying, all right, this will look good if you put them here. So if I click it again, so it could be looking at it. Maybe it's figuring out, sort of computing where, saying, okay, if I put these bushes here, so I'll just leave it where it is. Hit the button. So I'm not sure if that's what it's doing or it's just totally random. Not quite sure, but anyway, that maybe a little explanation of why you see the plants move when you click it and you're wondering, wait, I didn't put them there. What the hell's going on? But I think that's what's happening, is it's just setting up your next planting if you want to use, I guess, sort of their suggestion, maybe is how to word it. But anyway, so let's go off the planting tool. So now, planting tool goes, the multi-plant defaults to the tiny one, but if say you want to put in bigger bushes and you want to put a bunch at a time, now if you just move the stick as you rip the A button, just slam the A button, like, and here I'll do it. I'm just ripping the A button as fast as I can, moving it all around. And now when I stop, now I get my delay. I'm holding the stick down. I can't move, so now I get my delay, and then once the delay is over, boom. I mean, I just put in a ton of them. So that is much better. I mean, how long would it have taken me to plant all those one at a time? And I couldn't use the multi-plant because it would have given me, it would have given me this size. Well, that's not the size I wanted. I want bigger things. So where does that come into play? Well, when you want to put something like grasses, for example, here. And then the other thing too is, so if I wanted to put, grasses all along here, well, Yeah, I can go to multi-plant, but look what happens when I plant here. It doesn't plant them in the water. I'll let it go. Once it clicks, now look. So it didn't even put them within 5-6 feet of the water's edge. So that's where the multi-plant tool fails at the moment. Now maybe they're going to work on that. But now I come to the grass here. I say, well, I want to raise it for one thing. But now if I rip the A button as fast as I can, now again, it's really tough to do if you're trying to be precise. Like if I'm trying to just put the grasses around this rock, it's going to be pretty difficult. I mean, I can. It's really tough to press it as fast as you can. Maybe some people are better at it than me, but I mean, that was a quick try. But look, I mean, that wasn't very good. So it's a little tough when you're trying to do extremely precise. But if I'm just looking at this saying, all right, I want to just get this whole thing, this planted here, I can go through not only this, but I can go into the water. I can go here, go right down the line, come back in the water. Now, when I stop this, not only can you choose the size of your plants, but look at that. Now it plants them in the water. So ideal. So it's really cool when you can do that. Now think about how long that would have taken me if I were to plant those one by one. It's crazy. I mean, it's something you'd never. I mean, well, some people probably do it, but there's no way I ever would have done that doing one at a time. But you rip the button, boom, that's awesome. And same thing. Now if I were to hit the X button, every single one that I planted when I was ripping that A button will disappear. If I saw these, I said, oh, well, I don't really want these out in the water. You can always come in and delete one at a time if you want, or use the multi-select and delete as many as you want. Pick all the ones you want to delete. So ripping that A button is awesome for one, creating a bigger plant to plant, really a lot at a time, because as you can see, the multi-plant tool defaults to the smallest size. So here you can create bigger ones. Not only that, you can put them in the water, which the multi-plant will not do. So I believe this game came out at the right time with the absence of a Tiger Woods game on Next Gen's, hopefully HB Studios, by the time to keep the fan base that would have otherwise jumped ship. Yeah, the HB actually worked on the Tiger Woods games. They were like a backup studio, I guess, or something. So when EA Sports decided not to do a game, HB Studios said, "Hey, we'll do a game." And damn, I'm glad they did, because I absolutely love this game. I think it blows Tiger Woods out of the water in every respect. Yeah, people argue there's no multiplayer. I don't need it. I think this plays great, and if like they've said, they've optimized the delay in between shots with the Ghost now. If that's true and it's accurate, I mean, it's ideal. No offense to anybody I don't know who's watching, but I don't really care about playing with people I don't know, so to speak. I rarely ever do it. Like, I wouldn't really just go out to play with anybody. I have a bunch of friends that I play with all the time, Callie and some other guys, and it's great. I love doing it that way. We have a great time. You can chat, you can play. It works perfect for me. So that's great for me. I probably wouldn't just be going out to play with anybody I don't know. I mean, obviously, you sent me a friend request, yeah, I would accept and I'd play with you, but I wouldn't just pick anybody, Joe Public, and play around a golf. So that, to me, I don't need to be match made with, anybody on Xbox Live. If I wanted to play with you, I'll just, get on each other's friends list and you set it up and then you can chat. So I think that's perfect. Yeltsman says if you don't like it, just press X and it deletes it all. Yeah. So, I mean, if I didn't like it, I could just hit X. Sorry. I hit X, it's going to put back, the first X is going to, I think, put back that one plant I deleted. So, and then I don't think I did anything else. So now if I hit the X button, let's see. There it goes. So it just deleted that entire section on there, which is great. I mean, the downside, I guess, like I said, downside is because what can happen here is, say, let me see, do a quick thing like this. One of the issues you could run into, which Can be a problem is say I want to put a piece of fairway down. Phantasm says, "Look, planting looks more natural that way." Yeah, I like it. I really like to be able to do that. Now, say for example, okay, I'm gonna obviously I got grass all over the place, but so I wanted to come in and say, oh, I'm gonna rip some plants here. I'll just do these, make it something a little different. So I said, all right, I'm gonna rip some plants here along the water's edge, and I'm ripping along, and like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. I got a little out of control with the stick there. Now you look at it and say, oh, well, I like 90% of this, but I don't want to delete everything. So you do, in this case, it's not that bad, but say I were to be ripping the multi-plant tool with grasses, because you can do it with the multi-plant tool as well. Here, I mean, this wouldn't be the end of the world. I could come in and just go multi-select, and then I could select all these. I could go in and delete them. Okay, says, if that's true, I wish they kept the more natural golf swing of the Tiger Woods game. From what I've seen, the swing looks a bit robotic. I don't know. To be honest, at this point, I don't really remember the Tiger Woods swing, but I think I like this one. I think it looks good. I really don't have any issues with it. Which it's funny. A lot of the things we talk about, they are working on. Like I think they have said they're gonna try and fix the flop, make it a little more difficult, and I think they talked also about shot shaping. So maybe when you're in a bunker, you're not going to be able to loft it up to the very top limit. They might limit certain situations where you can loft, which would be great. Someone was talking about de-lofting in a bunker and still ripping a wedge like 170. I mean, that's that's a little insane. Okay, says first attempt all on their own. It's fantastic, and the course editor is all I've ever wanted since Tiger Woods 05, I believe, when they had it, where you could manipulate bunker depth and so forth. Yeah, I mean, agreed. I mean, this is their first golf game. I mean, from what they've been saying, now who knows? I mean, obviously they may not be ready to announce a Golf Club 2.0, but I mean, they're saying they're going to keep optimizing this and keep making it better. But yeah, I mean, this company is unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen the support from a development company that I've seen from HB Studios. I mean, EA Sports, Tiger Woods would come out, and did we ever see an update? I mean, DLC, yeah, you can bet your ass we saw DLC, of course, but I mean, once in a while you'd see an update to maybe fix a bug or two, but nothing ever got changed in the game. They're big boys, the big giant studios. I don't think you see that. This is kind of like, the small companies you deal with, you get better customer service. I think that's what you're seeing here. And it's just amazing. I think it's awesome. So, where were we? Anyway, so I guess that could be the one downside. Like I guess you can also do, if you wanted to, not surface. If you want to plant, you wanted to do a bunch of grasses, you'll do the flowers. So you got a bunch here. You can do this with the multi-plant tool as well. And I'm ripping the A button right now. I mean, that's going to be a lot of planting, but you could do it. So there you go. I mean, all of those multi-plants, it's doing however many bushes or plants were included in it, every single button press, but you can just rip it all out. Hammer that button, and they'll do it. Now, obviously, doing this a lot, your planting meter is going to go through the roof. But anyway, for some reason, oh crap, I wanted to put in red ones. All right, well, just hit the X button. And come on now, there it goes. So there, it just got rid of every single one, all those button presses. When you ripped that A button as fast as you could, it got rid of all of them. So, like I said, it's a little difficult to be precise with it. Like if I wanted to put just a nice ring around this green, there's no way. I mean, it's just too hard to be pressing the button that fast and go precisely around the green. But in a situation where I just wanted to plant this hillside with some stuff, and it's nice for, like here, you say, okay, let me do this. Let me plant a bunch of these. it's almost like it's a great way to get a base down for, so like if I wanted to do a planting bed here, like okay, raise this up, do a bunch of those. Now you just got to be careful because you're gonna end up with the same bush thing. So like if I were to go here and just go like that, Callie said I played with the Arnold Palmer course, was a course designer in the Link series. This is much easier. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like the Arnold Palmer game or the whatever the Lynx game, but I was clueless in that. I never even attempted to build anything. I just had no idea how to work with that one. This one is so much easier. But so anyway, so if you go too quick, or you got to press that button fast. But if you just go in a straight line, I mean that doesn't look the greatest, but it could definitely work. So if you come back to here and you're doing up. Oh, sorry. Yes, you are correct. I did go. I was on mute. My daughter had come in the room. I was talking to her. Um, yeah, sorry about that. I was on mute. My daughter had come in, and I forgot to turn it off. But yeah, the part three is going to be done in 2 hours and 10 minutes at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Crazy and Els will be doing their award show. The I know Crazy picked up a coffee table book of a par three sort of coffee table book, so that's going to be awarded to the winner. I know he's got some special things. He said, I saw he posted that poll on the forum, so maybe they're going to give out like a viewer's choice award type thing. Um, he did like a sort of a preview show or preview video for the show, and he had clips or a screenshot of each course. So they'll probably do something like that. So it should be fun. I have a course in there. I know Callie does. So hopefully we'll fare well. Do I expect to win? No, I don't. I would definitely like to. I think my course could be up there, but there's definitely a lot of really good courses. So just like taste contest, I mean, the winners are definitely the community. I mean, we got. I never even would have thought of building a 9-hole par three course. So certainly would not have looked to play them or looked for them. So this was awesome. Even especially with that tour setup, you can play them all. It works out great. So anyway, that's I think that's what I was thinking of, the planting tool. Like I said, you can rip out a bunch of plants real quick and get yourself a base. Now, I mean, that, kind of looks cruddy, but uh, like I said, they're all gonna be the one size. So you could come back in and create get a few bigger sizes, so you create some depth into your planting bed. But at least if you rip out a few plants, then you can always come back in and mask it so you don't see, so it all doesn't look like it's the same height. Because when you're ripping, you know, when you're ripping off that button, they're all the same. So look at, that's not too bad. You could put in a few more things. The other thing I like to do with this particular plant, I don't know why, it just kind of reminds me of like an azalea type plant, but I like to go in with this one and take something like this and raise it up and kind of make it almost kind of look like a plant that has some flowers on it. For some reason, I always choose that plant, but I guess it could, you know, this whole idea is you're kind of using your imagination. I guess you could kind of use it for any of the plants, I suppose, if you could just line it up right. But kind of like the way that kind of look. You could go for. I also used these. I don't really like these plants when they sit by themselves because I don't know. It's almost like, whoa, it just stands out like a neon sign. But if you hide them in here, of course, I always forget that you can actually rotate these plants. But I think if you hide the plant in there, of course, it's gonna look a little goofy with that other one. But Callie's got tons of plays on my course. Yeah, Callie's course was his par 3 was put on the suggested list. So as I know well, I had 2 courses on the suggested list, and they both went through the roof in terms of plays. So you get on that, you're lucky enough to get on the suggested list, and the number of plays on your course is gonna go through the roof. But anyway, so I like that bush for making almost kind of like an azalea type looking flower. The other message I saw, I don't know if you guys saw that, but Anthony mentioned in there, someone was talking about handicap plays, and he mentioned something about he was going to have some news on that. So I don't know what it is, but it sounds like something's going to change with having to get 200 plays on each console or each platform to get your course handicap rated. So I don't know, maybe they're going to make it so if it gets 200 across all platforms, I mean, who knows? It could be changing, so it's 100 on each platform. I don't really know. He didn't give more information, but he said he'd have more info on the update that's coming out. He said he'll have hopefully news on Monday, tomorrow. So maybe we'll find out more about the what do you call it? The handicap system in terms of plays. I would love to see if they just included all plays across all 3 platforms. Just give you the number. Now, that would work. If you got 200 across all 3, then you get handicap rated. That could work out well too. But I'm really curious because my Hunter Meadows course, it's up to like 1,800 plays on the Xbox, and there's way more PlayStation players, so I'd have to imagine it's over 2,000 plays on the PlayStation. So I'm really curious to see what it would be all 3 combined. But if they did that, I think you would instantly have a ton more courses get handicapped. So be interesting to see what they have. Anthony said Friday that he was hoping to have news for us, and his hands were tied. That's how he phrased it. So I don't know what that means. To me, that kind of sounds like maybe they submitted it and it's in Microsoft and Sony's hands, and there's just nothing he can say because he doesn't know. But maybe it's something different. I don't know. Hopefully we'll have some news. I can never get enough news about this game. I'm always looking at stuff. So anyway, that's pretty much it, I think. Like I said, you can holding down that A button. You can use it for sculpting, for creating surfaces, creating bunkers. You can use it to smooth out the edge of your fairway. Just run it along your fairways, smoothing out or creating depth in your bunkers. Like I did here, I just created a little bit of heavy rough all around the edge. I just slid it. I mean, I probably could have just taken a big monster brush, but it's not really going to work that well because then it's going to be going farther out on one side, So here, I just took it and just, slid it right around, just took the cursor, went right around the edge and try and get rid of, there is unavoidable. I could always flatten that, but it just kind of got rid of that dirt, that dirt along the edge of along the water. Yeltsman, don't see what the appeal of handicap rated courses. Yeah, I mean, some people seem to live for that and are so disappointed. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have two that got handicap rated. So I don't know. I guess part of it too is if you want to have your course on a handicap rated tour, well, obviously you couldn't do that. So there are some things that it is nice to have, but is it the end of the world? No, definitely not. Not to me. My courses that aren't handicap rated, I still enjoy them. That last one I had done, well, previous to the reversible course, but I did Devil's Whisper. That came out after Hunter Meadows. That one's not handicap rated, but I think it's still a good course. I don't know. I I just got lucky, like I said, to get on the suggested list, and it just took off. It got put onto the main tiles, so that course just took off in terms of plays. I don't know. It's almost like at least getting one almost is kind of like a, what do you want to call it? What's the word? Not a monumental task, but like you kind of arrived. Like, all right, I got a course. It got handicap rated. Almost some validation type of thing. I don't know, but again, doesn't mean it's a good course. It just gets on the suggested list. Hopefully it'd be good if they'd put it on there, but say someone took one of your credit courses and put it on some tour, and 40 people played it 4 times. There's 160 plays. You're almost got handicap rated. Doesn't mean it's good. So, yeah. I don't think people should be totally focused on the fact that it's not handicapped. It certainly doesn't mean it's not good. And just because it's handicapped doesn't mean it is good. So, I don't know. So anyway, that's the story. Here's my 6th hole. So I'm working on now. Give me a little par 5 down the hill. It's got the ditch, which I'll kind of probably add some things, maybe some plants type of thing, but and then the long par 5. Callie says none of mine are handicap rated, but I just enjoy designing. To me, it's relaxing. Yeah, like I said, I put out the reversible course, and I think the next night I was already into this. It's just so much fun. It's amazing. And just think about this game. There's no way it would have lasted without the course designer. That's the key. The key to it. Not only in the number of courses, obviously, there's endless amounts of courses to play, but just the fact that it's like a game inside a game. For me, like Kelly said, it's relaxing, it's fun. I just like to, I don't know, just like to be able to create things. And with this designer, not 100%, but for the most part, it's pretty much anything you can think of. As we've seen, you got extremely realistic courses and extreme fantasy, bordering on impossible. You could take a plateau and launch it up 100 feet and just make it a green. Yeah, that's obviously impossible. That could never happen. But if someone wanted to make something like that, they could. Would it get handicap rated? No, it would not, because there's no way. People would see that and say, I'm not playing this. But for the person who made it, shit, they may enjoy it. They may think it's the best thing ever, and they may love it. Maybe they'd handicap rate it themselves. Yeah, exactly. That's the best thing about this game is courses for everyone, wacky to real life. Exactly. My design philosophy is realism. That's what I'm looking for. I try and make it so that when you're playing my course, you could almost picture yourself in real life. Like this could be a real life course that you're playing. And I try and draw off stuff that I've seen. I've been playing golf for 30 years or whatever it is. So, I try and pick up on things that I think I've seen on the courses or stuff like that. So that's my idea. I don't think you'll ever see crazy looking, this is about as crazy as it gets for me, but I've been I was watching a video on YouTube, a guy called Mark Crossfield. He does golf vlogs, and he's playing a course in England called Saunton, I think it is, the West course, and it's just got all sorts of like these dunes. Now the thing that stinks about with this game and the draw, like the draw distance. Now if you look at that, like a perfect example, is my first hole. When you look at that hillside, from here you're looking at that and saying, oh, it's just like bare rock, but now get closer. It's not. It's covered in grass. You don't even see that rock, but I mean, that's the limitation. I don't know if it's that way on the PC. Maybe more powerful, you'd see that, but from here, it just looks like it's a bare, a bare rock side. So, I mean, this course that he's playing is just like this. It's got all sorts of dunes and it has like those ditches running through it. I started watching that the other day and I just thought it was the coolest looking thing. So kind of what I'm going for. I don't think I'm going to put any colored. I'm not going to add any heavy rough. I did it around the lake a little bit there, but I'm just going to keep it all with this tanner, lighter grasses. It just kind of reminds me of more of, obviously that's more bare down low, but it just reminds me of more, the lighter, tanner, drier grasses and things. And I kind of like the look. So that's sort of what I'm going for. More like dunes and wild things. So when you come up like here, you're putting at this green. I just really like that look of having the kind of the grassy mounds and hillsides and stuff. But it'll be interesting because I haven't fully planted, and you can see my little meter there. It's grown out quite a bit, and I've only really I probably will still have stuff to add, but I've really only done like 3 holes with planting, because even this 4th hole, not really planted. I have a few trees here or there. I did a little bit of planting in the creek, but there's still a lot more to be done. So I just don't want to take it to the point where obviously lag is the worst thing you want to do. Because it's the same on PC, but again, it may not be the best case study as my rig isn't the most powerful. Yeah, hard to tell. I mean, a better rig, you could probably, have farther drawing distances and things, but I don't know that that's the issue. I don't know if that would ever change, whether they got the different engine and what have you. But that is one of the bummers, because you're out here and looking at something like, oh, that'd be awesome. I'm going to put it like 150, 200 yards from the tee. Like, oh, I'll put all these grass on the hillside. Looks great. And then you get to the tee box and you look out and you don't even see a single thing until you're up close. But someone drives the ball and just hits it right past to where you had all that grass, and it's something they'll never see. But Yeltsman's strange thing is design on Xbox courses looks slightly different on PS4. Oh, yeah, I don't have a PS4, so I can't compare. I don't have it on PC either at the moment, but yeah, I was kind of curious about that. It's how people's courses, like, for example, with the PC, like, if someone's playing my first hole on this course, I mean, would they see? If they were out here, like, with the Xbox, you can't see. I mean, I can't really tell there's grass on the hill, but with someone sitting in the same spot with a super gaming rig, would they see all that grass? Would it be more like, would they have that, be able to see that from back there? I mean, that would be so much different. So sometimes I wonder, like, why am I putting that here? But maybe on the PC you'd be able to see those plantings and things. Like, I was thinking of this, like, maybe I should cover this all up with grass. But you know what? When you're back here, you'd never know it. You'd never see it. And even if here, your tee shot's going to be somewhere around here, 285, 286. Not going to see that. Okay, we're lucky in the UK at our choice of courses. Yeah, you got quite a varied set of courses and topography type stuff. I mean, between links and parkland courses and all that type of stuff. I mean, US not true links. I mean, they try and links themed, or I guess you could say, but there's nothing really like true links here in the US. We just don't have the topography. So anyway, I think that's about it. That's all I was really thinking of. Give those, give that tool a try. Where just hold down the A button and you do your sculpting that way. Or if you want to do surfaces, you can do that. I thought it was really interesting. Definitely could be a huge time saver. I mean, just like I said, just making these ditches on this hole was a huge time saver. I mean, I just held the button down and just went zip. 3-4 seconds, boom, the ditch was done. Instead of having to click that button and wait every time. So uh, definitely, I mean, if you come up with some new ideas on how to use that, that tool by holding down the button uh, on the headhunter on HB forum, shoot me a message or try and post a message. I don't know, maybe I'll start something on the forums with this idea and see. But I'd certainly love to hear different applications. I mean, there's a lot of different things I think you can do. Just Callie and I thought of last night after I told him about it, and we just spent I don't even know if we were in for a couple hours in the designer, but we were thinking of all sorts of different things. And then I tried the surfaces. I couldn't believe it when I tried the fairway. I didn't think it was going to work, so I was shocked. And then we tried bunkers, and that worked. And oh my God, we were hysterical, laughing, saying, "Oh my God, you can make some. I mean, you could just make some awesome looking bunkers, funky bunkers. I mean, I made that using that tool. I mean, you can do, you know, all sorts of funky little things. I mean, that bunker I think I did using that same techniques. I mean, you do it that way, and it's guaranteed you're gonna have unique bunkers. You never need. I mean, you could put in a standard shape, but you'd probably be so bored or say, oh, that standard shape looks so bad when I can do this, and you hold that A button and crank out something really wild. Based on video card, PC can see it from distance. Yeah, I think the more powerful card you have, the better draw distance you're gonna have. So for Xbox, I mean, I don't know. I guess if they optimized it to 900p, I mean, would that help? I don't really know exactly how it would translate into. Would that help with draw distance? I don't know. Or would that just make objects sharper and things? I don't, not really sure how that would affect it, but I really hope they do optimize. So, 'cause, I mean, not having seen it on the other platforms, I think this looks awesome, and everything I've heard, it looks even better on the PS4, and it looks even better on the PC. So anything that could make this game better would just be icing on the cake. I mean, $35 for this game is ridiculous, ridiculously good. Because I mean, I think we've all spent $60 on games that were not even close, and I can't even think of any games that I've put in 900 hours for. I thought I put in a ridiculous amount of time into Battlefield with the 400 or 450 hours, and I think I've doubled it with this game. So anyway, so that's about it. I think I'll wrap it up. Uh, Hopefully it helped you out with either the planting, ripping out those plants, smashing the A button as quick as you can, or holding down the A button to use sculpting. Between sculpting and surfaces, hopefully this little video or tutorial, whatever, helped you out, and keep me posted if you find anything new or if you do something cool with that A button, holding it down to do something other than some of the things I talked about. I'd definitely love to hear it. That's what I love about this community, is everybody helping each other out, and I mean, it only helps everyone when the courses get better and better. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. Gotta get some dinner. Get ready for the big Par 3 awards show. Gotta make my popcorn. It should be fun. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, Phantasm. Appreciate it. Good luck. Hopefully it helps you out. Make some new and interesting things on your courses. All right, guys. Talk to you later.